We got 5 variances and 4 variances, 1 appeal potentially.
What's the appeal?
The appeal is that trellis fence situation. She can
What's the other variance?
Foxglove. Eagle Lake Drive is they want to redo a pool in their front yard. Foxglove, I forget, but they can email and Seagulls, the Lee Salon, Haymarket is building a watershed buffer.
That one might go away depending on what happens with the Haymarket one. Isn't that the one where we never heard back from Ron on gravel?
No, it's a different one.
Is it Haymarket still the same street?
Hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. Yeah, that's a different Haymarket, different address.
Okay. Maybe one more. Usually, maybe 2 more.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more. 1 or 2 more. Two, but I have tons of police meetings that don't come to anything.
So it's December 13th is our date.
We have some backlog.
And then maybe at the end of November meeting, they could decide whether they want let's not talk about it today. Let's see how things fall out.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but we still have some backlogs too, like the Providence Landover, attached, detached.
Y'all can do that in January. I think it's a good January case.
You would have to come back, you know.
With subpoena.
Yes, you do. No, I'm gonna subpoena you.
I think it says like whoever is like,
I think whoever's in takes the role is then
yeah, I
responsible.
think that's the language.
We're gonna subpoena you.
I know nothing.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, the other Haymarket is just a vacant parcel that they want to build a house on, and it's like almost all the way encumbered with a buffer.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Sorry for our late delay to this morning. I would like to call the October 25th, 2022 meeting of the Charlotte Zoning Board of Adjustment to session. I am Douglas Wilson, Chairman. Also sitting on today's board is John Floyd, Deborah Dryden, Tariq Hamid, and Hamilton Court. Also present are Shad Spencer, our zoning administrator, Lisa McCarter, our planning project manager, Teree Hagler Gray, our senior assistant city attorney, Jill Sanchez Myers, also our senior assistant city attorney, Terry Edwards, clerk to the board, Candy Thomas, who is our court reporter. I would like to start by acknowledging that we are conducting this meeting in person. This is the 9th in-person meeting of this year. of the Charlotte Zoning Board of Adjustment. And as always, I'd like to ask you for your patience today as we proceed. There may be slight delays as we transition between speakers, participants, and presentations. The Zoning Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes and the Charlotte Zoning Ordinance. We conduct evidentiary hearings on requests for variances and appeals, among other requests. Before we begin to hear the cases on today's agenda, I'd like to provide some important information on the steps that were taken to ensure that each party's due process rights are protected as we proceed. Notice of this meeting was provided to the applicants and the public in several ways. Notice of today's hearing was mailed to property owners within 300 feet of each subject property and notified the property owners of the in-person meeting. Notification letters also stated to contact the city immediately if there were any objections to the cases being heard on today's agenda. Notice was also provided by placing signs on each property and by publishing notices on the city's website. The notice for today's meeting contained information about means by which the public can access today's proceedings. Finally, any individual wishing to participate in today's evidentiary hearings were required to sign up prior to today's proceedings. This information was also included on the board's website. Application for a variance for the regulations in the zoning ordinance. The application for a variance for the regulation in the zoning ordinance, and here is the order of the recommendation agenda as follows. The zoning administrator or a zoning staff member will identify the cases and recommend approval of the variances with any recommended conditions based on specific reasons. The chairperson will ask if anyone wants to speak in opposition. If there is such a person, then the case will be moved to the regular agenda and will be heard at a later date. The chairperson will ask if the board has questions for staff or if there is any reason the board wishes to move the case to the regular agenda. The chairperson calls for a motion and a second to approve the variance. The chairperson will then hold a roll call vote. Today's order agenda will be as follows. All parties will be given testimony, pro or con, and must be sworn in. A zoning staff member will explain why a permit was denied or why a variance is requested. The board may question the staff member, and then the applicant may also question the staff member. The applicant presents their testimonies for this case. The board may question the applicant, and the staff may also question the applicant. The applicant may present sworn witnesses. They will be subject to questioning. Other parties wishing to speak, pro or con, will be given reasonable time to present sworn testimony. The staff and then the applicant will be given an opportunity for rebuttal. The chairperson calls for a motion and a second to approve the variance. The chairperson will then hold a roll call vote. After each hearing, the board will review each case and render a decision. This is usually done in closed deliberations after hearing each regular agenda case. However, the board may elect to take up to 30 days to render a decision. You may remain present during the deliberations, or you may call the zoning staff after the session to receive the decisions of the board. All exhibits must remain with the board. Exhibits were recommended to be provided to the clerk no later than 12 p.m. on Monday, October 24th. If your case is not appealed to the Superior Court after 30 days, you may pick them up or they will be destroyed. If you feel there is a conflict of interest of any member of the board or any association that would prejudice your case, please let it be known at the start of your case. The board is acting in a quasi-judicial capacity for purposes of this hearing and can only accept sworn testimony. While the board will not specifically exclude hearsay evidence, it is only given limited weight. The North Carolina State Bar has issued an advisory opinion that it is the unauthorized practice of law for an individual who is not an active member of the bar to appear for another or otherwise assist or represent another at a quasi-judicial hearing on zoning and land use matters. All applicants should have been provided with a copy of that advisory opinion as part of the application packet. If you are a property owner or a non-lawyer here on behalf of a property owner and have not received a copy of that opinion, please notify the clerk. The documents will be provided to you. If, as a result of this advisory opinion, the applicant would like to request a continuance of his or her case, the board will consider such request at the start of that case. Appeal from this board is to the Mecklenburg County Superior Court. You have 30 days from the date of the board's decision in which to appeal in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 160D-405D. In order to receive a written copy of the decision, any aggrieved party must file a written request for a copy of the board's decision by filling out the form, which must be filed with the board clerk or chairperson at the time of the hearing of your case. We will hear, three cases, really two cases today, plus the appeal, two to the recommended agenda and one appeal. The first case, I'm not going to say that because we're going to do the appeal first, right? So the first case we're going to do is the appeal. Again, I'm going to have to recuse myself because I recused myself during the original case. So from there, I would turn it over to Mrs. Dryden, and I will step away for the remainder of deliberations for this case.
For case number 2022-051, both plaintiffs have requested a continuance for this case number. So board, we just need to vote to approve this request. Mr. Floyd?
Yes, vote to approve.
Mr. Hamid?
Yes, to approve a continuance.
Mr. Court?
Yes, to approve.
And I approve that request to continue. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Marshall.
I vote yes to approve.
Okay, thank you. All right. So that case has been approved for the October agenda. I'm sorry. For the November agenda. We're in October. Okay.
Okay, so that said, our next case would be case number 2022-065. Okay. See if I can remember this by heart. Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth on the case in the matter of hand?
I do.
All right, you may proceed.
Our first case is a residential rear yard variance request. The applicant is requesting a 13-foot variance from the 35-foot rear yard to allow renovations to an existing structure. And I'll give you a minute to look over your findings.
Okay, Lisa, you may proceed.
Exhibit number 1 is a vicinity map. Exhibit number 2 is a zoning map. The property is zoned R5 and it's located in the Plaza Midwood Local Historic District. Exhibit number 3 is an aerial map. Exhibit 4 is a close-up aerial map. Exhibit number 5 is background. The home on the property was constructed in 1930. The property was shown on a 1988 zoning map with a zoning designation of R6. The property is 5,000 square feet in area, which is less than the required 6,000 square foot minimum lot size for the R5 zoning district. So this is a non-conforming lot that predates the R5 requirements. The structure is also non-conforming because the rear of the home encroaches 13 feet into the 35-foot rear yard. So you can see, let's see. I guess the laser pointer's not working, but it's highlighted in yellow. Exhibit number 6 is the variance request. The applicants purchased the home in 2022, and the inspection report uncovered several structural issues with the roof and foundation of the home. And you can see in the graphic to the right, it states many places the siding is located at the ground level. The applicants wish to renovate the home and repair the structural damage, and that will include providing a clearance between the siding and the ground, and this will require raising the roof height. So the zoning ordinance does not permit expansions to a structure outside of the compliant building footprint. In order to raise the roof height and vertically expand the rear of the home in the area of the encroachment, the applicants are requesting a 13-foot variance from the 35-foot rear yard. Exhibit number 7 is considerations. Staff supports the requested variance. The hardship was not caused by the applicants, who were made aware of the encroachment when they commissioned the survey for the purchase of the home. A hardship would result from strict application of the ordinance because it would prevent raising the height of the roof, which is needed to repair the structural foundational issues. A portion of the inspection report describing the roof damage is shown down to the left. The hardship results from conditions peculiar to the property because the lot size does not meet today's minimum lot area, and that decreases the compliant building footprint. Granting the variance is consistent with the intent of the ordinance because any renovations will have to be approved by the Historic District Commission and meet the Charlotte Historic District standards. The Historic District staff is not opposed to the variance request. Granting the variance will not alter the character of the neighborhood because the footprint of the home will not be expanded. Also, the applicant states the variance will allow the roof on the rear of the home to be visually integrated with the roof on the rest of the home. You can see the existing roof on the lower right graphic. Oh, here we go. And so this is the portion that's lowered, and it's just right up against the top of the door. The variance would uphold public safety and allow clearance between the siding and the ground on the rear of the home. Exhibit number 8 is a photo of the property, and that's the end of my presentation if you have any questions.
Lisa, 2 quick questions. One, just to confirm my understanding is correct. The actual encroachment in the rear yard isn't going to be increased, right? They're just raising the roof.
Correct.
And the raising the roof won't be any higher than kind of the top of the existing structure. Is that fair?
From my understanding, yes.
That's it.
Any other questions? Terry, is anybody in opposition? Okay.
Then I make a motion to approve this variance.
Second.
All right, motion's been made to approve the variance by Mrs. Dryden, a second by Mr. Floyd. Now move to a roll call vote. Mr. Floyd?
Floyd, yes.
Ms. Dryden?
Dryden, yes.
Mr. Court?
Court, yes.
Mr. Hamid?
Hamid, yes.
Okay, all right. Wilson, yes. All right. Now reviewing the findings of fact and conclusions of law.
I didn't see the issues. Motion to approve the findings of fact and conclusions of law.
Is there a second?
Dryden, second.
All right, there's been a motion to approve the findings of facts and conclusions of law by Mr. Floyd and a second by Mrs. Dryden. Now moving to a roll call vote. Mrs. Dryden?
Dryden, yes.
Mr. Floyd?
Floyd, yes.
Mr. Court?
Court, yes.
Mr. Hamid?
Hamid, yes.
Wilson, yes. Our next agenda item will be case number 202267.
All right, this next variance is a residential setback variance. The applicants are requesting a 5-foot variance from the 30-foot front setback to allow an existing primary structure to remain. And I'll give you a minute to look over your findings.
Okay, Lisa, you may proceed.
Okay. Exhibit number 1 is the vicinity map. Exhibit number 2 is the zoning map. The zoning is R4 single family. Exhibit number 3 is the aerial map. Exhibit 4 is a close-up aerial map. Exhibit 5 is background. The property is a corner lot with the front of the lot along Manhasset Road and the street side yard along Murray Hill. R4 zoning requires a setback of 30 feet and a street side yard of 15 feet. The lot was subdivided in 1953, and the recorded plat showed a 25-foot front setback and street side yard for the property. Per code, the 25-foot front setback shown on the recorded plat would supersede the required zoning setback. Exhibit number 6 is background. In 2021, a building permit was issued for a new home, and the plot plan indicated the proposed setback was 31 feet and the street side yard was 23 feet. The permit issued noted that the plat needed to be revised for compliance of the new home. The plat was revised to show a 30-foot front setback and 15-foot street side yard. And when that revised plat was recorded, the property was then subject to the 30-foot front setback. The applicant states that during construction, the surveyor unintentionally staked the front setback at 25 feet instead of 30 feet. Exhibit number 7 is the variance request. After the home was constructed, a survey was commissioned for the sale of the property, and the survey showed a 25.4-foot setback. The applicant is requesting a 5-foot variance from the 30-foot setback for compliance of the new home. Exhibit number 8 is considerations. The hardship is not a result of actions taken by the applicants and was not discovered until a survey was commissioned to sell the home. The applicant states the encroachment was caused by the surveying error during construction. Unnecessary hardships result from strict application of the ordinance, which would require a portion of the home to be demolished. The hardship results from conditions peculiar to the property. The original 1953 subdivision plat allowed for the 25-foot front setback. There's also a 20-foot wide stormwater easement located across the rear of the property that prohibits development towards the rear of the site. The requested variance is consistent with the intent of the ordinance because there are other nearby homes with established 25-foot setbacks. And in the graphic to the right, you can see the home across Murray Hill and the home just right beside the subject property. Both have 25 feet established front setbacks. Exhibit number 9 is photos, and in the top is kind of looking across away from the intersection, so you can see how the front of the homes line up down the street, and the bottom is just the front of the property. And that's the end of my presentation, if you have any questions.
Any board members have any questions for Lisa? Okay.
So Lisa, it's the front of the house, right, where the 3 windows are and the door, that little alcove, that's where the 5-foot encroachment comes?
Correct, yeah.
Anybody here in opposition, Terry? Okay.
The neighboring property is the carport is what encroaches into the 25 feet, or it is.
Correct,
encroaches
yeah.
into 30 feet. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the variance?
Motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second?
Second to approve.
Okay, there's been a motion to approve the variance by Mr. Floyd, second by Mr. Court. Now we move into a roll call vote. Mr. Floyd,
Floyd, yes.
Ms. Dryden,
Dryden, yes.
Mr. Court,
Court, yes.
Mr. Hamid,
Hamid, yes.
Wilson, yes. Now we're going to review the findings, facts, and conclusions of law.
I didn't see anything, so I vote to approve the finding of facts.
It's been a motion to improve the finding, facts, and conclusions of law. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Floyd. Motion was made by Mrs. Dryden. Now moving to a roll call vote. Mr. Floyd,
Floyd, yes.
Ms. Dryden,
Dryden, yes.
Mr. Court,
Court, yes.
Mr. Hamid,
Hamid, yes.
Wilson, yes. Okay. Sorry, I lost my agenda here. Okay, here it is. Next agenda item is the approval of the September meeting minutes. And, so. Terry, did I sign this today? You just want to email this to me? Just email it, okay.
Motion to approve the minutes from September 27, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second to approve?
All right, there was a motion to approve the September minutes by Mr. Floyd, a second by, was it Mr. Court? Okay, I thought it was me. All right, now move to a roll call vote. Mr. Floyd,
Floyd, yes.
Ms. Dryden,
Dryden, yes.
Mr. Court,
Court, yes.
Mr. Hamid,
Hamid, yes.
Wilson, yes. Okay. Is there any other things we need to discuss? That's it. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do I have to vote on the motion to adjourn? All right, okay, meeting's adjourned.